Hi there, welcome to Irish Homestead. So today we've just received a delivery of trees from Future Forests. We've ordered quite a few trees from them over the past, because when we moved here, previously the farm had been used for cattle farming, so it was all overgrown fields by the time we purchased the place. The only place you'd find any trees would be in the hedgerows, and that would be ash or goat willow, blackthorn, hawthorn, stuff like that. So no trees at all over the place. So one thing we have been doing, one of our long-term objectives, is to plant some of the acreage back up to woodlands, and we've also started growing an orchard. So you have apple trees, cherry trees.
We have apples, cherries, pears, plums, damsons.
And damsons. All very young, we're not getting any fruit from it, but you know, in the years to come they should mature. And then in some of the fields we've planted things like alder, willow, poplar, hazel, even some trees like maple, chestnut, oak, just to try and give a bit of a variety, because in years to come we'd like to try and be semi-self-sufficient on fuel, firewood. But today, what's in the package?
So today we have, we've ordered, it's a small order, we have some fruit trees. We have a couple of Bramley seedling apple trees, a few damsons and blueberry bushes. Then we've ordered some willow, but specifically for basket making, a different like red and yellow colored willow. A few alder trees because they really grow very well here in our wet and clay soil. And I think that's it. Yeah,
this is a relatively small order. Altogether, we've probably planted around 300 trees so far. This will be the last batch, because obviously we're getting late in the year, and then we'll pick up again planting more trees in the autumn. So we're just going to open it up now. We've got an empty raised bed here in the polytunnel, so we're just going to open the package up and just bed them in just for the next few days until we can get around to planting them. Okay, as I said, this order's from Future Forests. We've only ever ordered from them, so we have no comparison, but we're super happy with them. These are bare root trees. They all come bundled up, they're all labelled up, so very easy to identify them. And they pack it in straw. The roots are nice and still very nice and wet. So we're just really pleased with them. From all of the 300 odd trees and bushes that we've ordered from them, we've had very few die.
Yeah, just a few.
And chances are that's just, you know, the nature of it. It's nothing to do with the quality of the product they're supplying.
We are not going to be planting them today. Probably we'll get to planting them tomorrow, day after, depending on the weather. So what we'll do, we'll just dig them into this spare raised bed that we have in the polytunnel to keep the roots moist, so that they stay here for a few days before we get to planting them.
Right, so it's 2 days after we received the trees from Future Forests. It's a lovely morning, so we thought we'd better get round to planting them. We're going to start off with the willow. We're going to put them in a few different locations just to see how they work out. So we're here not far from the house, the polytunnel. We're going to put a few along this bank, alongside this drainage ditch. And then we're going to take some further down one of the bottom fields and plant some down there. Okay, so that's five willow plants in.
15 more to go.
15 more to go. We planted them about 2 foot.
A
bit more than 2 foot apart, so that the closer they are, they'll grow longer, taller, and so they'll be better for basket making. So we've got another 15 to go. It's only so 20 plants, 20 willow trees. Isn't very much to do in the basket making terms, but this is the sort of the start of another one of our long-term projects, because we won't be able to start using any of this for a couple of years to let it establish, and then we will coppice.
Take slips.
Cut slips off, and replant the slips. Willow's very easy. You just simply cut a branch off, stick it straight in the ground, and it will root itself. It's one of the easiest things to plant.
Well, and anyways, we don't yet know how to make baskets.
No,
So.
we haven't done the basket making course yet. That's something hopefully we want to do this summer. And then hopefully after a few years, once this lot's established and we've planted more slips, we'll be able to start making our own willow baskets and willow crafts. Something else to add to the homestead. Okay, so what we've just done here is we've just given them a little bit of a water. As much as it rains an awful lot here in Ireland, it's not actually rained for the last 2 days.
No, we're running out of water in the water butts.
Water butts are getting low again. It doesn't take long. So we just give them a quick bit of water just to help the roots establish, and we've also laid down a nice deep layer of wood chip mulch. The reason we do this is to help suppress weeds, so that the willow slips have more of a chance to establish and grow, and they can take the nutrients rather than the weeds taking the nutrients from the soil.
They do recommend everywhere to plant willow slips through weed suppressant fabric or plastic.
Through into the plastic fabric, right?
Through the plastic, yeah. But well, first of all, this plastic is not particularly cheap here. I don't know why. But also, we don't really like putting plastic on the ground, because if this black plastic stays on the ground for a long time, it does deprive soil of nutrients, and our soil is not particularly rich anyways.
And the wood chips, they're biodegradable, and they rot down into the ground, and they actually provide nutrients to the plants rather than take nutrients from it. So
yeah, and we will kind of repeat mulching maybe sometime by middle of summer. Just to make sure that all the weeds are down, but we have been doing this around most of our trees, and we found that it works really well to suppress the weeds around the trees.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the willows done. Next we've got 2 crab apples to plant, and we're going to put one of them here next to the chicken enclosure,
And one the other side of the chicken enclosure.
and one over that side near the bank. And it's a bit of an idyllic idea, but once they've grown, so we'll plant it here, once they've grown and matured.
In 10 years' time.
In 5-10 years' time. And they start developing fruit. And the fruit falls from the tree onto the ground. And then our chickens will enjoy eating the crab apples.
And hopefully it will provide some shade for the chickens as well in summer.
Yes, yeah. Nice,
Not that our summers are very sunny and hot, but nevertheless.
Just today.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Who digs?
You.
I dig. Okay. Okay, last but not least, we've got a couple of alder. So we've come up to the top of our front field here, just in front of the house, where we've got the sheep at the moment, and we're going to stick these 2 alders up here.
Yeah, funnily enough, when we just bought the place, we wanted to plant trees everywhere.
Got carried away.
Planted them here and there in the fields, thinking that in years to come they will grow big and it will be lovely and beautiful.
Idyllic again.
Yeah. What we didn't know at that time whether we will have sheep or goats or any animals like that. But once we got them, we realized that we cannot put any animals, grazing and browsing animals here, because they eat all the young trees.
Yeah, and we soon learnt that we needed to get livestock like sheep and goats, because trying to manage sort of 7 acres on your own by hand is just too hard. So bring in some sheep and they'll graze it down for us. So it was ideal.
Yeah, so we had to fence off this area. They did eat a few trees here by the time we realized that that was a stupid mistake. Anyways, we had to fence off the area. We managed to save most of the trees, but we're going to just plant some additional trees in place of those that have been eaten by our 3 greedy sheep.
Okay, so we're up in the orchard, and we actually planted these 3 trees the day we got them.
Yeah, because these are fruit trees, so they're a bit more sensitive. So we just wanted to get them into the ground as soon as possible.
Yep. So this is
Bramley seedling apple, and 2 damson trees. Yeah, so we've planted them, we've mulched them with well-rotted donkey manure.
Clover's poo.
Clover's poo, yeah. And we will also mulch them with thick layer of wood chips later once we get the wood chips. Not only to kind of suppress the weeds, but also to hide the donkey poo, because
the dogs love to come up here and steal donkey poo.
Yeah.
Chicken poo, geese poo, any kind of poo the dogs love.
And we do feed our dogs.
Yes, we do feed them, other than poo.
Sorry, geese have something to say.
Geese having a chat, mouse having a wee. Note, fencing to keep the geese out. Geese also like to eat trees. Everything seems to like to eat trees. So, yeah, we will do a tour of the orchard in one of our upcoming videos. So please subscribe and stay tuned to watch. Thanks very much.
Thank you for watching.